What's poppin', y'all? As we're nearing the ninth installment of XXL's Freshman list, we're gonna look back 10 years to the first ever one. They skipped one in 2008. Since the list is supposed to be some sort of a representation and a foreshadowing of the upcoming future stars of the industry. So it's only fair we look at everyone on the list and see what was the likely reason they got on the list and how they've done over the years and if they're still relevant musically today. Keep in mind, in 2007, magazines were still a very big thing, and a rapper blowing up off the internet was not even really a big thing yet until Soulja Boy, who would do it that same year. We'll start off with Saigon, and I'm gonna be honest, he's the only one on this list who I had no idea who he was back in 2007, and even now, I had only heard about him from his debut album. With that being said, he was really influenced by a man he met in prison who would rap with positive messages and a wide array of vocabulary that had a strong effect on Saigon and changing his life. After prison, Saigon released a bunch of mixtapes in the early 2000s and got signed to Atlantic Records, but had a falling out with them because they allegedly didn't want to allow him to have full creative control of his debut album, The Greatest Story Never Told, which wouldn't release until 2011. As for why he got on the list, he had worked with Kanye West and Just Blaze, and with all of his mixtapes, there must have been a big hype for his debut album. Today, he isn't really doing much in terms of relevancy rap-wise, but he has been acting in several TV series the past couple of years. Now, Plies was a clear pick back in 2007. He had two huge singles, Shawty with T-Pain and Hypnotized with Akon. Released his album, The Real Testament, that went gold, and was featured on DJ Khaled's song I'm So Hood. Between 2010 and 2014, Plies' music career had winded down and most people thought he was done. But with the power of Instagram and his funny videos, plus him getting suplexed at a concert, he shot back into popularity, especially with the younger crowd, and was able to turn this into a support system for his music, with songs like Ritz-Carlton, also known as Ran Off on the Plug Twice, that had its own dance challenge, and Racks Up to My Ear. I'd say his music career is in a pretty good place right now, and most rap fans of all ages would know who you're talking about if you mentioned him. I first heard about Papoose when he was on the Touch It remix by Busta Rhymes. I was a youngin' at the time. But he was also a huge mixtape rapper, sometimes releasing 5 to 6 tapes a year, and was an underground rap star. So it's no surprise he was put on this list. And he's from New York. Papoose didn't release his debut album, The Nasirema Dream, until 2013 to pretty disappointing sales, and his popularity had fallen. And as for now, man, Papoose is a legend. I mean, he had a couple of songs in the past year, and they've been doing well too, so I wish the best for him. Crooked, who's a part of Slaughterhouse, was on Death Row Records when Suge Knight was owner, but his contract expired and he left without releasing any albums and started his own label, Dynasty Entertainment. He also had a huge following of about 15,000 the first year on what was basically a forum or message board on his website, westcoastdynasty.com. Crooked One's launch Dynasty TV in 2004, the internet's first video streaming platform that showcased music, videos, interviews, and concert footage before YouTube. He released the online mixtape Young Boss Volume 1 through that website, and it was downloaded over 20,000 times directly from his own site, which crashed the web server in its first hour of being available for download. The mixtape received critical acclaim throughout the underground hip-hop circuit, garnering an impressive XL rating by the hip-hop publication XXL Magazine. He also started the first hip-hop weekly series, where he would drop a new track over old and new hip-hop beats for a year, from 2007 to 2008. He would post them on his forum, website, and iMeme, which was a social media back then, and had the biggest profile in the rap section. He would always interact with fans and sometimes do beat requests, and all of this led to him getting put on XXL Freshman list. As for now, he's not a very well-known rapper, and most definitely not mainstream, and only people who are really hip-hop heads during the time where he was poppin' and underground fans would know who he is. Rich Boy was on the Comeback Season mixtape by Drake, and definitely known for his hot single Throw Some D's back in 2006 that charted number 6 on the Hot 100, and his debut album Rich Boy in 2007 that went number 3 overall and number 1 rap on the charts. It's no surprise to see why he got put on the freshman list. Other than that, there's really ain't much to say about him. A lot of people would consider him a one-hit wonder, and nobody's really checking for him now music-wise if he even still does music. Gorilla Zoe was featured on a couple of Young Jock songs that got him some buzz, but he really got poppin' when his single Hood Nigga took off, charting at number 38, and his debut album peaked at number 18 overall and number 3 on rap. He took a break for a couple of years and came back, but nowhere near the level of prominence he was at in 2006 and 7. Joell Ortiz, another member of Slaughterhouse, and was signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath. Dre allowed him to release his debut album, The Brick Bodega Chronicles, with the label he was dealing with previously. The album had some big features like Big Daddy Kane, Akon, and Styles P, but if we're being honest, it was commercially kind of a flop. I don't really remember him at all during this period, and the only reason I could see for XXL to put him on the freshman list is because of their bias towards New York rappers and the fact that he was on Dr. Dre's label at the time. He was nowhere near the level of popularity of any others on the list, and he hasn't been on the radar in years, and most people have no idea who he is really, unless you're from New York. But don't let that take away from his rapping ability, because he's really, really amazing at what he does. Lil Boosie is one everyone should be familiar with, especially with the enormous hype he had coming out of prison in 2014 with the Free Boosie movement. He was a huge regional artist, especially in his home state of Louisiana and the South as a whole, but has gone on to nationwide popularity and very little international popularity, some might say. He was a big mixtape rapper as well, and in 2006 dropped his debut, Badass, with the single some of y'all might remember, Zoom, featuring Young Jock. Also, soon after a DVD was released, where Boosie opened up about his father's death to drug addiction. It's no surprise at all he was put on this list. He was huge back then. After a long prison sentence for drug charges and being found not guilty of first-degree murder charge, Boosie was released on March 15, 2014, to more fame and anticipation for an album than he'd ever had. His album Touchdown to Cause Hell dropped on May 26, 2015, and sold just under 60,000 first week, which was huge, especially for Boosie. And with how sales have been the past couple of years, Boosie is still relevant, doing shows and releasing music. He ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Young Dro was signed to T.I.'s label Grand Hustle, and his single featuring him, Shoulder Lean, not only had everybody shoulder leaning in class, but was everybody's ringtone and was always getting played on BET and MTV. He dropped his label debut album, Best Thang Smokin', in 2006, and number 3 on Billboard 200 and number 1 on the rap and R&B chart. It ain't no surprise he was on the cover. Shoulder Lean was a hood classic, and his major label debut did well. As for 2017 though, he's faded from the fame he once had. I think he still makes music, but he isn't very relevant as he once was. Now we're coming up on definitely the most accomplished rapper on the first freshman list ever, Lupe Fiasco. First getting attention from Kanye from his remix of Diamonds from Sierra Leone called Conflict Diamonds on his first installment of his mixtape series Fahrenheit 1st and 15th. He brings light to the issues of the diamond business. Kanye then featured him on his single Touch the Sky, that would be on his second album Late Registration. Lupe then released his own single, Kick Push, that was nominated for a Grammy Award and was a shock to the hip-hop world because nobody was really talking about skating and hip-hop. It just didn't go together at the time. He released his first album, Food and Liquor, with assistance and production by Jay-Z, and the album charted number 8 overall on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on Rap and R&B, and would get voted Best Hip Hop Album in 2006 by a bunch of different publications and earned 3 Grammy nominations, Best Rap Album, Best Rap Solo Performance, and Best Rap Song for Kick Push. Definitely a classic hip-hop album, and definitely the most deserved spot. I mean, we can even call it extra credit or overachiever on this freshman list. In 2016, he did say he was dropping 3 albums and retiring, but he didn't drop any. And he recently released Drogas Light, and still plans on retiring after releasing Skulls and Drogas, but we still don't have news on either of the last 2 albums or if he'll still be retiring. He is definitely still well known and respected among people who are in the know of rap. And his last album in 2015, Tetsuo in Youth, sold 42,000 first week, but got a lot of great critical acclaim and easily a great album, one of his best. Lupe is the most accomplished out of this freshman list, with 12 Grammy nominations and winning 1 Grammy as well. Out of this entire list of XXL Freshmen, the only people who we can say still made it in 2017 are Plies, Boosie, and Lupe. And with consistent success since they landed on the cover, is Boosie was in prison, so that definitely postponed his career. Lupe, a critically acclaimed and legendary rapper who's done it all when it comes to the rap game, was on XXL Freshman first issue. So as much as we like to criticize XXL, they definitely got it right their first time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think about XXL's picks. Do they mess it up every year, or do they get it right sometimes? And what's your favorite year? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Peace.